Welcome, folks. We're here in lovely Sarasota, Florida, site of the 2003 Ultimate Players Association Club Championships. I'm Michael Baccarini. I'm here with Tina Booth, and we're taking in the Masters Division Final. Tina, what can you tell us about these two teams?
Well, we're all set to see a great game. We're going to have Old in the Way going against the Refugees. Old in the Way is from Boulder, Colorado, and the Refugees are from Miami, Florida. In order to get here, Old in the Way sent the Fat Boys from St. Louis home by a score of 15-10. And in the other semi, the Refugees defeated Cavu from Idaho 13-9. Looks like they're getting ready.
This is Old in the Way in the white jerseys. They'll be pulling upwind to the Refugees, who are wearing a sort of royal blue colored jersey. It's a gorgeous day for Ultimate here in Sarasota. These fields are fat, with a PH, that is.
Peter, you gonna yell out the stops?
Okay, here's the opening pull. To fight that through the wind takes a lot of power. Refugees receive. Got a flick force by Old in the Way. Not much happening on the open side, the force side. Here comes one. Oh, hotly contested by the D. They're up and playing. Nice break. An inside-out flick from Todd, I believe it is, in the yellow hat. Another break mark throw. And continue for the opening goal. So Miami catches the first one. Go up 1-0. As you view the field, you'll notice that the teams tend to take some longer shots from left to right. The wind is going that direction, so it sure opens up longer opportunities, choices for the offense. The defense has a tall task to try to stop an offense going that direction. But it's even tougher to score going from left to right. Excuse me, from right to left. There's big Monty Adler, 6'4", for the Refugees. Matching up on one of the several big men on Old in the Way. There's Monty. He's a fine player. There's Butch with some great sideburns. Butch Brown. He ran the national tournament here, the Ultimate Players Championship here, for a couple of years, I believe.
Michael, how come you know these guys so well?
A lot of these Refugees have played in the South where I play. I'm from Atlanta, so of course I've matched up against them. Oh, see the observer's hand go up there?
Yeah.
Yep, we've got an offsides call. That throw will go back. The disc will go back for a repull, that is. You notice that the observer wearing the orange jersey, bright orange jersey, raised his hand when the person pulling the disc crossed the line before letting it go. If the puller or any one of his teammates, his or her teammates, crosses that line before the disc is airborne, an offsides can be called. He'll raise his hand, and then the other team has to call offsides immediately, ask for a repull. So they'll walk it back and line up and do it again. See the orange jersey. Those observers are right in position to make the call here. There's Florian Fender from Berlin visiting us for the weekend. He's a fine all-around disc player. This one landed in, and they were not offsides. Nice break mark throw. Looks like we had a pick call.
If it's in the air, it should be staying there.
That's the discussion. It looks like it was decided. Perhaps the observer gave some assistance there to go back to the thrower. Two big fellas guarding each other here. The Refugees have 29 players in their roster, Tina.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think we need some roster limits. Even enough for 3 teams there.
A little big forehand cross field with the wind helping, and looks like the defender helped receiver to the ground on that one as well. It might have been a little incidental contact. I'm not sure that disc was catchable.
Yeah, it seems like flicks are going out of that corner all the time.
The wind is going in directly that corner. That throw followed the path of the wind as it's going across this field.
Well, they got to figure out how to put some brakes on it. They just lift the nose up a bit, just slow right down.
Yeah, aim right at the receiver and let the wind push it right to him. So it was indeed contested by Parker Gillum. He contested that foul call and sent it back. So we'll start it again. Third time's a charm. Right again, ooh, close. Randy Ricks,
I like
one of the best players in the Masters game. Throws the backhand across the wind for the score.
The winner of this game is going to have the opportunity to represent the USA in August 2004. They'll be traveling to Turku, Finland for the World Club Ultimate and Guts Championship. Actually, I don't think it's club, it's just World Ultimate Championship.
So they send one representative from each country, participating country?
Right. In 2000, in Heilbronn, Germany, Olden in the Way was the U.S. rep, and they went on to win the World Championship.
Yeah, they were tough that year. They were strong. Heilbronn was a beautiful setup. The fields there were magnificent. It was a great tournament. We watched that final in the stadium there in Heilbronn. It was a beautiful setting. Looks like Buzzy Elworth is about to pull. You know Buzzy, don't you, Tina?
Yeah, Buzz is a good old Western Mass boy. He comes from Happy Valley of Ultimate, where I'm from. I live in Amherst, Massachusetts. And Buzz went to UMass many years ago. And one of his first jobs was teaching at Northfield Mount Hermon, which is about 25 miles north of us. He was the first person to get a varsity team in Ultimate at any high school in the country.
Oh, that's great. So what you're saying is he's been around a while.
Yeah, he's almost as long as me.
Several of these guys are easily into their 30s. You have to be at least 33 to participate in the Masters division.
How about for the Women's Masters?
What Women's Masters division? Was there a Women's Masters division?
Yeah, I think for a while, and then it just kind of fell into the UPA trough of non-competition.
But I understand they had a shortage of players really to round out a strong division yet. I assume that, as you say, the critical mass will come and
Right.
there'll be a Women's Masters division again. Okay, the pull from Holden in the Way to Miami. See some receivers being isolated here in the action. Looks like there was another pick call. This will probably be going back to the thrower, because I believe it was called before the throw was released.
Oh, he's pointing to his job. Guess so.
Yep, goes back to, this is Kevin Buguski. Showing a flick. And, oh, high count, looks like he called a timeout. Timeout Miami.
I don't understand why there's not any zone. If it's this windy and they're this wily, I would think they'd come up with some kind of zone that could trap them on the sideline, and it'd be really difficult to get out of.
I think we'll probably see some more spread out off defensive looks as the game continues. It's my suspicion anyway, but I think they're probably feeling each other out right now to see what they've got. They played each other in pool play, as we know, and Old in the Way was victorious, right? Did they win by 4?
They won by 3, 15-12, and actually Old in the Way was undefeated throughout pool play.
There's plenty of skill on these two teams. I think they're seeing how they're going to handle the wind, and yeah, I think you're right. We're going to see some different defensive looks as this game wears on. And wears on. Okay, what do you think they're discussing here, Tina? Miami's on offense. They're only about 15, 20 yards outside. They're in the red zone. Close enough that one throw is easily in there.
Yeah, but it's that tricky part of the end zone. I really hope they don't try to jam a flick into the right-hand corner.
Well, I got to figure that Old in the Way is welcoming that choice. Okay, he's addressing the disc. The offense is. He's waiting for the defense to get set.
It looks like they have something set up to go to the far corner.
To the break mark side?
Yeah.
So you're assuming a forehand force here. He's showing forehand. Nice. And you're right, Tina. Whew. Look at that. Quick score. He tipped his hat, didn't he? He showed a forehand right off the bat.
I know.
Okay, so is that 2-all?
No, it's 2-1.
Oh, wait, Miami got the first score downwind. This is their second score, so it should be 2-all.
Like I said, it's 2-1.
Pardon me.
It's tough being right again, Bagherini.
Oh, well. Not enough coffee this morning. You're correct. 2-1 Miami. They'll be pulling up wind to Old in the Way. This Boulder team probably gets a fair amount of wind out in Colorado to work with, but
With that thin air.
yeah, boy, they're used to discs sailing effortlessly in that thin air. So I would imagine with the wind at their backs, it's very similar to what they're used to. No offsides call there. You noticed Florian was in flow, as we call him, was in great position to call it, but the disc did not stay in bounds anyway. It'll go to the middle. Your 2-1-3 being called. That might be a sequence or a play they're looking for. And spread the field well. Or a flat break mark throw. It's not necessarily that one that hurt him. It was the next one. They're giving him the forehand side. Ooh, nice catch and a tough dump. Another flat break. Open side flick for the tying score.
It's 2-2 now, Michael.
Thank you, Tina, for that clarification.
It's okay, that's why I'm here.
Both these teams seem to have a good bit of height to work with. That can be really useful in a blustery, windy day like this where the disc is hopping, and very likely the difference in the game is who can get the scores upwind, and sometimes getting there, you've got to win a couple jump balls to pull the disc down as it's floating.
Yeah, I really like the way Old in the Way took care of the disc in that sequence. Nothing fancy. A lot of smart throws.
Saw a couple times they ran their defender way into the open lane and then cut back toward the break side, but the thrower was delivering it before it went into an area that was behind the mark, so it was a relatively flat pass, not a really break mark or a radical inside-out forehand or anything to get it off. Smart. Easy way to do it. Buzz is set to pull again. Making good use of a frisbee helmet there, the bandana to protect his head. Nice form on that pull.
Really nice.
It's a good pull-up wind. He's kind of hemmed in on the sideline. There's been a foul call there on Buzz.
And now we're going to see what the Masters do best. Discuss what happened. One explanation, then the other.
He'll work it out, all in due time. Notice by the flapping of the jerseys and spectators' clothing on the sideline, it's a breezy day. And the observer gets into position to help if he's asked to. They settled it. It was considered a foul. It's coming back and put in play again. High release lefty.
Oh.
Wow, see the wind push that well.
Same place?
I think we had a foul call on the mark there. It'll be going back, and they'll put it in play again. I think as these two teams, so knowledgeable in the rules and how to play the game, as they feel each other out and get some flow going here, we'll probably see these calls and the slowing down of the game diminish. I'm sure it'll start to flow much more smoothly shortly here.
Either trying to come to some consensus with the observers. Number 33 came running from the back of the pack, so he must have something to say.
Yeah, that's Lewis. Tough player. Notice his grip, Tina?
Yeah, what are you going to tell me, Michael?
Well, it's one of those little things you can look at ahead of time. Now he switched it to his left hand, so he's making his mark wonder. But the observer was asked, made a ruling and said, nope, that's a turnover. No foul was called. Or was committed, I should say.
This goes back to Old in the Way.
At the point where it hit the ground. So it'll be put in play from the cone here in the corner of the end zone. It's a tough place to start your offense. That wind is going directly at them.
I love it when we get someone trapped there.
It's probably a good 20, 25 mile an hour wind, too. Tough spot. Nice break.
Nice break.
Foul couldn't get to continue. All right, back to a backhand for us. Oh, a nice catch off the big backhand upwind. They're in the red zone. About 15 yards out. Nice throw for the score. Upwinder, that's huge. Gives Oldham away a 3-2 advantage.
It's a good score.
What, 3-2 is a good score, or
It was a good score.
the point was?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to work it up there.
Started with a nice break off the corner, got it off the corner, but they were comfortable enough to come back to the sideline, knowing that they can get it off if they have to, and work it back to the middle of the field. But they worked the sideline, all open side throws for the most part after that first one, and scored the upwinder to go up 3-2. Looks like Buzz is set to pull again.
I assume Buzz is the only one who pulls.
Looks that way. He pulled to start the game, and this will be his 4th. The Refugees have been a strong working team where they'll work it close to the thrower, and this works to their advantage. It really helps them out trying to score upwind. They're very good at short throws, very good at squirrely cuts, swirling around and with quick, explosive moves and a quick release to get it off. Nice pull, way up into the air using the wind. That's exactly the path of the wind that disc took right there. As you're watching this game, flick across the field, it's a beauty. Oh!
Okay.
That wasn't handled by Lewis. I'm sure he's going to work really hard to get it back on D. He went to a zone defense right there, but maybe it wasn't enough time to get it set fully. Quick score by Olden in the way. It's now 4-2. Boulder. Okay, Boulder will certainly put in their strong downwind defenders here. Monty and Butch in view there, as well as Tico. It's a strong offensive team. Steve Fisher came into the picture. It's a strong cutter. Hard to cover his squirrely cuts. You're right, Buzz is pulling everyone. It's a big weapon to have a strong puller on your team, isn't it?
You know, it's the first point where you can show that you can get an advantage. I have a hard time convincing my kids, though, that in the middle back of the end zone is almost as good as in the middle little corner of the end zone. You know, they all want to try to place it. They all want to be like the big boys.
Well, look at this big boy. He pulls it upwind. The wind's going to push it, though. That's tough. So, instead of getting it on the field and your D set, pinned them back deep. Instead, they're going to get at the brick mark, which is 20 yards upfield and in the middle of the field.
Huge advantage.
For the offense, receiving team. Butch is walking it up. Now he's jogging. Watch out. They want to hustle and get their offense off. They recognize that there's a zone. Here you go. Didn't want it to get set. This looks like a 1-3-2-1. They've got sort of a flattish wall of 3 defenders. Oh, and they get a big one up by getting it around it and a little bit beyond the under receiver and out in front of the diving deeper one. Okay, Steve is on the mark. Great break across the field. Continue backhand. Oh, couldn't reel it in. Parker, a very fast player, quickly clicks it up.
Back to man.
Ooh. That's tough. Such a short break, and that's a strength of theirs. But a big one upfield. This will be huge if they get a 4-2 advantage off a second upwinder. Another forehand. Notice these guys, even into the wind, are They're not comfortable with a forehand into the teeth of that breeze. Breeze is probably the wrong word to use there. They're really having to fight through a stiff wind. They're willing to throw a backhand across the mark even, just to get it through this wind. And the refugees are willing to give them that side. Now here's a real advantage. A lefty in that situation. Nice lead pass. Looked like a diving butch, didn't quite get there.
Nice patience.
Great upwind break again to take a 4-2 advantage. 5-2, pardon me. That's 4 goals in a row for Olden in the way. A 5-2 advantage, and they're pulling downwind. Refugees are going to have to get a break here. This would be a good place to start. All right, Olden in the way. You noticed last time that that 1-3-2-1 zone was something the refugees handled downwind, but you think they might give them a spread defensive look coming this way?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, they got him to turn it right away.
I would think a upwind that might actually, some very skilled teams, they're gonna be able to work it around and through a zone.
Yeah,
Yep,
well, they're giving it a try.
Looks like a trapping zone. Yep, they're trapping the backhand side. Got around it. Yep. Those 3 in the wall are trying to be as big a presence as possible. You're hearing help from their teammates, hands wide, hands wide. Well, they weren't wide enough on this one. They've gotten it through the cup, around it, and worked it to about midfield. With precision passing. Lewis. Looked like a scuba across the wind.
Wow, that's a big goal.
Not quite in, very close.
Ooh.
Garrett has it. Doesn't have much. Short flick.
Up and goal.
Squirrely cut. And Louis scored it. It's now 5-3. Olden in the way. That was the upwind break that refugees needed. Okay, so that makes it 5-3 Olden in the way. They're still up 2 breaks. That's huge. Still a huge advantage. A very important goal for Butch and the refugees.
You know, just psychologically, it's good to score upwind. I think a lot of times teams think they can't score upwind and they just play to not lose the disc. But when they actually do it, it breaks it open a lot.
And at this level, clearly the teams that have made it to the finals, it's because they are capable of breaking the mark and throwing into a stiff breeze regardless of what the defense is doing. At least that's the hope.
This is a game to 17 and maybe capped. And if it is capped, they'll add 2 points to the highest score, and that's what they'll play to. So if the score is 13-11, they'll end up playing to 14. Okay? Or that could be 15, I mean.
I was going to correct you there, actually.
Yeah.
That was going to give me a shot.
Good, 1 point for you.
Or even. Yeah, the time cap would go on a certain period has passed and the game has not come to a close. They want to keep it consistent. Even though it's a final and there's no Masters game to come after this, they want to make sure that all of the games are played of an equal duration. tough. Great catch. Another great catch. Boy. You know how much he had to lead the receiver, and the wind still held it up. Whoa.
Out of bounds.
I think he was inbounds. I think he dropped it as he hit the ground. Perhaps Butch has it. Lots of fakes. We'll take something easy. High release backhand. Oh, that's asking a lot of your receiver.
That is one of my least favorite throws on a windy day, man. A high release backhand. It's a default throw for so many people, and it gets them in trouble over and over.
There's a high release, but there's going to be a call.
Travel?
Travel or a pick? Might have been a pick on that receiver's defender was trailing him. He may have been picked, is why he was behind. Discussion here about positioning and a much smaller defender. Steve Fisher guarding. Is that Steve Fisher? Yep. Guarding Randy Ricks. Randy moves well for a large fella. Oof. That was close. Call earlier was a stall by Parker. It was contested. Dave Banks contested that. Looks like it's coming back. He thought he got him stalled this time. But I think Dave perhaps thinks he got it off in time. Okay, they sorted this one out. Looks like the stall, nope, the stall was contested, and so it comes back in. Park will be tapping it in. Stalling 9. And he called the stall again. Someone emphatically disagrees. Hard to tell from here, they'll have to sort it out. They're letting it stay where it is. So Parker and the refugees agreed, he got it off in time. So now Ian has it. Ian Hugh. Backhand across the mark. This is a pretty point to be watching, Tina.
Yeah.
Don't you think? This is flowing marvelously.
I'll be using this when I teach my camps this summer to show.
Well, show them that.
Show them that.
Great
That's
break.
a sweet throw. To show them. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Perhaps
Hey,
there
Michael,
was a better choice.
Michael, you take that one. Why that was not a good choice.
A hammer into the teeth of a wind. A crosswind going from right to left. A hammer's not a good choice, rarely. Look at this, the length of the field. Now Steve Fisher's speed on Randy Ricks was an advantage. Throws a backhand dump and, well, and will recover, so.
The refugees are doing their best to turn the momentum around. It's now 5-4. Boulder's still up by 1.
Okay. That was a big goal. They couldn't just answer with an upwind break of their own, the refugees. They needed to score the one they're supposed to score. Get the D and score downwind.
I'll tell you, if they get the D now and score upwind, it's going to be a serious celebration on the Miami sideline.
No doubt. We had a 5-2 Old in the Way lead, pulling downwind. Refugees stand to tie it at 5s. A lot of yardage gain there. Great catch. Oh, flick. Beautifully placed.
Nice. I love how they use the field there.
Certainly.
Okay, Oldham the Way is still up 6-4. They've added one to their score. It's a pretty quick goal, pretty sweet goal.
Jeff Bryant on the receiving end of that long put. It sure makes using the entire field a lot easier when you've got wind at your back, which was the case there, but still, that was a beautiful throw. You had to slow it down just enough. You don't want to overthrow. It's easy to do. Cole, he's content to keep it on that sideline, but they're flirting with the out of bounds. Giving him at midfield.
I'm telling you, Buzz, you need to step to your left just 10 feet.
Okay, looks like a zone set up by Oldham in the Way. Todd is playing dump. Very reliable thrower. They're using the force side. Look at that placement. Outside edge up.
Wow.
Ooh. Continuing across the field. Good recovery by Oldham in the Way. Now gone to man, but too late. Good movement by Miami. Really made it tough for Colorado to recover on that change from zone to man.
6-5, Boulder.
So that is a 4-1 run by the Refugees.
Yep.
See if they can keep it up. Now he stepped a little bit more to his left, like you suggested Buzz might do, to keep it in bounds, and look at the result here. Just barely, but it is in bounds.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit more real estate to hit.
Okay, they switched the mark. They're going to a backhand downwind. And Randy says, okay.
Okay, I got that.
I got a receiver who can reel this one in. Apparently he does. Dave Banks at 6'5". That's a big target.
7-5, Oldham in the Way. You know, it seems for this part of the half, Boulder's pretty much dominated. It feels to me like they have the game under control.
However, the Refugees are not going away. They're only down 2, after being down 3 early.
Oh, I like
They're
that
hanging
pull
there.
too.
Ah, roller. Todd picks it up. Quickly moves it. Okay, good quick movements. Trying to keep the disc moving. Don't let it stay stationary for too long. Now, this complex here is something else. In Sarasota, this polo complex, it's phenomenal how huge it is. So much space for great fields and a wonderful tournament like this one.
Now, I'm kind of surprised there's not more people watching this final.
Well, there's some exciting games going on adjacent fields. The Open Division semis, the Open Men's, that is, and the Women's Division semis. Some big games. The finals of those divisions will be tomorrow on Sunday, but today it's just the Masters Division final. Boy, he's in the middle of a scrum there. How's he going to get out of that? Hey, look at that. They disappeared. Ooh, great defensive effort. Forcing a low throw. Of course, when the wind is at your back, throws tend to dip anyway. They drop like a tailwind behind a plane. It's just hard to keep your altitude. Same with the disc. So quickly that's turned over, and look at where this disc is. It's not a good place to be. Tina, why do you not want to be on the sideline?
Because if you don't know how to break, you're going to be on that sideline until you turn it over. We'll see what they're going to do. See, that cut's not going to get you anywhere.
Okay, Heath has Jim Glynn set up a dump behind him. Doesn't like where things are set up, so he calls a timeout.
It's going to be half at 9, and again the score is 7-5.
So I believe each team still has one timeout this half.
So Michael, what do you think they're going to do? They called the timeout, trapped in a corner.
Well, I think Miami could throw on a spread out defense here and really make it difficult to get out of the corner. Your options diminish drastically when there's wind to deal with. It's an 8th defender out there, and it makes even breaking an easy zone tough to do because, well, the wind doesn't make your usually reliable throws quite so reliable.
Right. So you think they're going to throw a zone on him?
Let's see here. It looks like they're going back to man, but as they're still assembling on the field, Butch is in position here to give his marker some help, telling him where the receivers are and
right.
helping him maneuver on the mark. He'll probably be there barking out signals to help him be in the right position for his defensive teammates.
You know, if there's one thing a new team could learn from this is that you always have to have someone on the sideline telling you what's going on. And it's hard to get teams to do that.
The throw up line, dangerous. A poacher almost gets there, but wow, that's a favorite for a receiver, isn't it?
Yeah, don't even talk to me about that. I've seen a lot of serious injuries on that throw.
Try to keep the disc moving and not necessarily open side. There's a beautiful flick, but notice the backhand here instead. Why did I know that was the throw of choice? Normally, that would be a flick in continuation, but this wind is just enough to make these guys feel a little bit more certain about the powerful release of a backhand. He did it again, even though Todd's mark was there. Beyond the intended receiver, but an opportunistic Jeff Bryant was there to reel in the trash.
Okay, for Boulder, they have one more point to take half. It's now 8-5. Miami needs to pull it together if they're going to go into the half happier than they would be right now.
It's funny, I hear that cowbell. I can't help but think of Bachman-Turner Overdrive. I don't know what it is, but okay, sorry. You know, those of us that are Masters eligible tend to think of those bands. Meanwhile, the high school kids you and I coach are going, who?
Who?
Nice pull. Looks like an offsides. You hear someone say, re-pull. I'll go back and do it again. Yeah, of all the all-time greatest cowbell bands, I think Bachman-Turner Overdrive's right up there. War made good use of the cowbell. Not War, yeah. Oh, they sang War.
War?
Yeah.
Michael.
Who are you fighting for?
Who? Okay. Boulder wants to finish this half.
He inverts this one a bit more. Laying that outside edge down and puts a little deeper this time as well. I think there was a call prior to that defense. Yep.
For those of you who are really novices to the sport, you may be wondering why there aren't refs or umpires running up and down the field. But the way we have it set up is that the folks in orange are the observers, and they will be used if there's any question. But the onus is really on the players to settle the disagreements.
Awfully crowded around the disc here, but Todd's always reliable to get open for a pass. And reliable in completing his next pass. He really takes care of it well. Nice break, but boy, it's crowded there. And because of his reliability, he pays for it every now and then by getting a good defender riding him. Brian was a little too close there. Came down his ankle. Looks like Todd's okay. Notice now he's not showing a flick. Got the backhand right off the bat. Nice.
Man, Miami wants this up one goal.
It's huge at 8-5. They need an upwinder.
Ooh. Oh, what was that again? The high release?
You teach that at your summer camp for kids, Tina, the high release backhand?
They're actually not allowed to throw it at camp. They can throw it when they get to be masters. I prefer the low backhand break.
Okay, they're discussing whether that was a foul on the Old and the Way player. Eric Peterson seems to think that he contacted his hand and not the disc. Or perhaps both simultaneously. I think they'll have this settled shortly. I do notice in the Masters division that these discussions seem to take a bit longer. Well, they worked it out. They went to the observers. I'm not sure whether or not the observer was instrumental there, or if the players themselves came to an agreement.
I think that was the right call.
Yeah, that was a pass that was asking for a play to be made on defense.
Okay, now if you are Boulder, you really need to value it. It's your chance to seal the half.
That's a big point.
They had a good D.
There's the shot they want. Outside edge up, little bender. Nice read by the receiver. That's half.
And Boulder takes it. 9-5. Good for them.
Well, they'll take a break here and discuss, both the teams, how they can improve upon what transpired in the first half. So here we are, Miami.
What do you think?
Pulling in the second half.
Mike, what do you think they're going to do differently?
Oh, I think you might see some more different looks on the mark defensively. That's a little confusion there. Nope, Monty's guarding the dump. That's why he appeared to be double teaming the thrower. Great D.
Yeah, that was pretty much served up. I'm not sure the D was that good.
You know, Butch was a tremendous wrestler in high school. I think that gives him a little spring with those legs. Looked like he had it there, even if he is old. Nice break.
Yeah, I love that break. Okay, so my guess is Oldham and the Way decided that they were going to be a little bit more aggressive on the offense when they're going with the wind.
That's Parker. Long, one of the fastest people in this game. Still mighty fast. What a great catch. Notice they're forcing flick and a great break.
Man, I love that throw.
Well set up. That cut by Butch. Gets the flick off wind.
Whoa.
A score. That's huge.
That was huge. That's ugly. 9-6. Boulder.
Although I have to admit, some of those throwing this weekend, you're throwing right in the teeth of that wind. You try to give it that inside out down edge as much as you can, and the wind is still going to turn that thing over, like it did there with Butch's throw. but it was reeled in.
You know, one of the things I like about watching these guys play is they're really, you know, when they're marking, they're not right up on people. And it's hard to get new players to see that. They think that if you can impede your arm, that's good defense.
Yep, and then sometimes moving in and out as well, moving farther away to prevent a big release, but covering an area. That's a...
What was that, Michael?
That was a hammer for a dump. And this wind, I threw this weekend some against that, in that wind, and it's not an easy throw to make, let alone to catch.
Particularly with no yardage gain and no real change on the configuration of the zone.
Now, the Florida teams have had great zone defenses for years. They're willing to pack people in. Look at that crowd. Now, Colorado's got to get it out of there, and they did, to Randy. He throws the most important throw so far of this sequence, getting it across the field. But now they got to do it all again.
Why wait, man? Someone's got to be there.
Look at that.
4-person cup.
A scuba.
Okay, if there's 4 people up front, then that means there's 3 in the back. So there's got to be space somewhere.
And there it is.
Okay.
That's the throw you have to make this weekend to be successful. I think they're back where they started. All that work. Rob Bleiberg is a crafty veteran. He's calling a double team here.
Yeah, they look pretty close.
Butch is quick to give the counterpoint on that argument. 2, 3 steps. Okay, supposed to be no other player closer to the thrower than the one marking him. They can't come in a 3-meter halo there.
Right.
And he pasted off there to prove that as a shorter person, those 3 steps were probably more like probably about 8 feet. Okay, the observer flow is getting involved.
Do you think at this level, with this many years of experience on the field, that they're trying to rattle the other team? Miami's trying to rattle Boulder?
Could be. There's certainly some gamesmanship, I think, that goes on at any level, but you definitely see some... That is still a double team.
That's still a double team. Oh, wow. Man, and that is not where you want to put it.
Well, but I think they're thinking, well, if they're going to crowd us that much, we can get it out. You're going to be regretting being so close to all of us. Okay, Gear has it. Nope. They got a foul on the throw.
And that's like the throw that Cup loves to see. Okay, I guess I just really want to hang out in this area of the field for a while.
Darius on the mark. Bouncing around, preventing the dump. And a 4-person cup.
Okay, hit. There we go.
That's big.
Continue.
Oh. Well, the wing was out there. Said you're not going to get the easy continue. Couldn't get to that one. Now that they get outside
back
the cup,
to the middle.
Got to keep moving. Got to keep it moving. But the cup is set. There's the hole. So yeah, it sure looks like the easy thing here would be to just go over this cup, but that wind is making even the finest throwers reluctant to try.
You know, and it's really tough when they decide to take the dump away. When they can see in your eye you're looking for the dump. Okay, that's a nice pass.
Big shot by Randy.
Oh, middle.
There he is. Do it early.
Oh, too late.
I want this guy with a disc.
Wow. Didn't want to get stalled.
I think I jinxed him there. Parker, quick feet. Not in. Whoa. Physical marking. These guys aren't hesitant at all to do that. Randy got it back. He's got to be happy about that. All right. Bleiberg was fouled and hold up there.
Guess where we are? Same place.
Dave Kelly on the mark. Still have what looks like the cup at least poised to set. And there it is.
Okay. Swing it. Fake it. There we go. I have to say you have to be an aficionado to sport to really like zone offense and defense. You know, most people expect man-to-man, and they can understand it, but if you haven't watched or played a lot, it's hard to see the drama here. Okay.
So this defense is saying, okay, you've got to throw lots of passes to get it up the field, and we don't think you can do it. But it looks like Randy's saying, well, look, see, I can throw this right through your legs if you get a little closer to me.
Yeah.
And Mark, of course, is saying, no, I'm going to stay back here. You're a crafty veteran. I know you'll please the crowd with just such a maneuver, but instead they're going to the observer to discuss what just happened. So that observer is, their job is just to step up and tell them what they saw, make a ruling if they're asked to. The players are still supposed to work it out. Soft. He was flat-footed on that backhand instead of striding into that throw. Pushed it down. They had broken past their zone. Wow.
It's a nice grab.
It's a great grab. Butch is not afraid of traffic, that's for certain. Nice backhand break again. Boy, the D is heating up here, isn't it, Tina?
Yeah. The pace is really quickened.
Oh, a huge block.
Sweet block.
Ricks. Oh, this is where I like to have a player not pick that up after a huge block. Let's see if he does something very simple, like huck at the distance of the field upwind. Oh.
Well, what do we call that? It's the law of inverse greatness or something? I don't know. My kids always talk about that.
I hadn't heard that one.
Great.
Timeout called by Parker. First of the half for the Refugees. That's too bad. Ricks had gotten a huge block. You know, he's probably one of their better throwers, and certainly...
No, but adrenaline pumping through, through your body makes you not be able to throw it as well. The rule on my team is you make the block, you get away from the disc.
Yep, become a receiver. Take a moment to change gears.
Sometimes they don't even let him be a receiver. They can run around, they get cheered, that's fine, but...
Well, in that case, it certainly would have been a wise choice for Randy, although that throw upwind was very catchable. It was a tough read in the wind. It slowed up and turned over, and unfortunate read by his teammate Dave Banks. Big target at 6'5". He pulls that in. They were beyond all the Refugees.
Yep. And they know they need that upwind goal.
So when it gets checked back in, Parker will be in possession of the disc.
How far away?
Looks like they're beyond midfield, back in their half of the field, that is. All right, they've set up what they're going to do, and we'll see what happens here. agree with you on that block. Seems a poised player. It's a good thing after a great defensive play to run away from the action. Definitely don't pick up the disc, because so often in our years of play and coaching, you see that turnover occur by the person getting the block. First pass, turn.
I want to say it's like 8 out of 10. Particularly if they pick it up right away. Like make the block, pick it up, throw it away.
Parker's got a big mark on him here. Yep, throws open side. Wow. That's a big cross field. Flick.
Lefty.
They've got the field spread out well and moving. Monty's trying to spring free.
Oh.
Very nice catch. Was that Oscar?
(9-7) Boulder. Miami's on its way back. Boulder hasn't scored at all in this half, and you know that's weighing on their minds.
And as you see the wind picking up.
Refugees are psyched. I'm sure you say the same thing to your team, Michael, but one of the most important points to win the game is the first one out of the half and winning a timeout.
Yep. It's pretty tough to convert on that post-timeout point. You know, you want to put it in and get that score, but we get those turned over quite a bit. All right, the Winds at their back. Heath is looking for a receiver. Has to hit the dump, and it wasn't easy. Ooh. It was a Blady looking flick and still caught. He was going to kick left a little. There it goes. But he reeled it in. Great catch.
That's a nice grab. That's hard to read the disc when it's coming over your head like that.
Yep. Very Willie Mays-ish there. Jim Glenn reeled that one in.
10-7. First score of the second half for Boulder.
So the Refugees going to keep it at 2 with a downwinder here, or will Olden in the way pull one more break away? Wow, I put this one much higher in the air. Wind's going to beat it down a bit more too, but good hang time. Wow. Right, fell right off the bat. Milan's not happy about it. Milan's got one of the best hammers in the game. Not afraid to use it either, but in this wind, well, if he's going to do it, it's going to be this direction.
Is that a push pass?
I couldn't tell. It happened so fast. And there's a foul on that, but cut it off.
Yeah,
wow. Parker for the score.
10-8 Boulder. Look, I thought there was a foul on the thrower back there.
Oh, you thought it was the thrower? I thought he stepped through and certainly tripped, but
yeah, I don't know.
Looked like I'm sure he's the one who called the foul there on the marker. Okay, it doesn't have to make it all the way to the other end of the field. You just want to keep it on the field. Okay, Bob P. is a great thrower. He's got it. Throws back again. Gare sent it back. Butch is on the mark. I think we may have had a travel call. That may have been a travel call. I think he called him for stepping a bit far through that mark and past it and just dragging the pivot foot. Crossfield flick. Ian has it. Well, another call.
Yeah, the crowd is starting to boo. You must be a championship game.
Yeah, Tico is on the mark. It appears. Looks like he's nursing a calf strain. Could say milking a calf strain, but that sounds like...
Michael, I hate puns.
Okay. The downfield D must be really taking away the deep options. Just getting really crowded around the disc. Gear still has it. They're still forcing backhand, you can hear. Boy, they can't get off that line, can they,
No.
Tina?
You know, backhand force is easier to get around than a flick force because you just put your hand back there and throw the flick by the defender, but not if you're getting hammered.
You mean hammered on the mark?
Yeah,
Well,
or
they got one
hacked on the mark.
Yep, you got one there. Got the break off. And another stoppage of flow. Back in the hands of Pease.
Okay,
Hope he minds his P's and Q's, and well, he did. He threw that one.
Michael,
Yeah.
with the wordplay. You think a travel call?
And Milan's throw, I believe. Oh, he's taking a sub. Like Steve Fisher. With that injury to the hand. Going to bring Todd in and take his place with the disc. Here we go. Okay, Dave Smith applying the mark.
Wow. It's hard to tell who's on the field and who's on the sideline.
There's a discussion as to whether or not Butch caught that in bounds or not.
Back to Boulder.
Yep. Dave Smith picks up. Throws a crossfield. Wow. Asking a lot, and it was turned over. Boy, they're on the dance floor here. This would be a big upwind break for Miami.
See some patience.
Milan throws it back.
There we go.
Yep.
Miami's knocking on their door.
It's a nice little give and go back to Rob from Milan.
Big bottle, there's a nut. See it?
Miami has the advantage.
Yep.
Going downwind. Tied up.
Ooh. Oh, it squirts out the back. So where do they take that disc, Tina?
Middle of the end line, right?
I think if he walks it straight up from where it went out the back of the end zone, if it goes out on the fly, he'd get it at the brick mark, but it has to come straight up from where it exited the field of play after hitting the ground. Not the worst thing, though. They've got them hemmed in deep in their zone again. Okay, the discussion here is... Well, I have no idea what the discussion here is, but it's another one.
Okay, there we go. That's
throw.
sweet. Keep
and
it going.
Keeping it going. Gear has it, puts it up. Oh, that's a beautiful throw.
That is a great score.
Reeled in by Jim Glenn. Gear threw a beauty.
Man, they make it look so easy.
Uh-oh, there might be a call.
You gotta be
There's
kidding
a call.
me.
It's coming back. If it comes back to Gear, my suspicion is they called him for a travel. Well, guess we'll find out in a moment. He's the one nearest the disc where they're placing it. Okay, as they discuss it here, yeah, as you hear somebody claiming, Gare, all of the defenders were behind you except for the one on the receiver. The call is that he dragged his pivot foot in getting that long throw off. Perhaps took an extra step, but see what they can do with it now.
They've got to reposition, though, right?
Yep. People are claiming you can hear the sideline help. Refugees have got to come back behind the thrower. Money was level with him, but about 5 or 6 yards toward the sideline. So he certainly wasn't in position to block Gare's throw.
Okay, he's uncovered.
Okay, Monty is still beyond him. He's waiting for the other offensive players to come back. Okay. All right, so we're about to see it put back in play. Tina, would you still put this up? Mark's not on him.
Yeah, I put into the big fat end zone.
There's a lot of room back there. There goes. Oh.
Yeah, he didn't want to let it go. That's what they expected.
All right. David Dewitt got there in time to stop the throw and have gone backwards. Nope. Travel call. Randy Ricks caught it and did appear to take a step or two he didn't need. No, they're calling it instead on Heath. I guess he traveled in throwing it to Randy. Okay. Oh, travel call again. Yep. He's saying, I'm doing this with my foot. See these fancy cleats? See how great they look as I spin around? But I'm not traveling, it's just the cleats. You guys are... Watch the game, not my cleats. That's what he's saying. Hey, looky here, it's another travel call.
Okay, back to
Heath.
the guy with the cool cleats.
Heath McKay with those fiery cleats. I think they're mesmerizing the defenders. Look at them, they're so close. They're all getting a good look at his new Adidas. He's proud of those cleats. Okay, now he thinks it's just comical. He's handling this well and saying, all right, I think I can get a throw off without dragging my pivot foot or taking a step. Let's see what happens. Ground check. called a foul. There's lots of help on the sideline there for this cup, for the refugees. An active sideline. Randy's not afraid to use his hammer. That's a beauty.
And that opens it up.
They're keeping it moving. That four-person cup is still set. Heath's got it again. All right, is he going to travel this time? No, he's pivoting. No, got it off. That's a big target. Dave Smith, 6'5". Add arms to 6'5", and you're getting up there. Okay, they're going back and forth across the field. Buzz is trying to maneuver people. Throws a bladey backhand. That was beautiful.
That was a beautiful throw. Very risky.
That's a rare throw. Oh,
man.
After all that beautiful work. But looks like Heath is making a call. Refugees don't agree with this one.
Is it retribution or a good call?
Okay, they promptly got the observer in there. I got to figure they realize the crowd wants this game to move along. The game's not about the crowd, clearly, but players have got a game to play, and I think they're veterans enough to keep this going. A little wide for the receiver. Buzz picks up. All right, the red zone. There's quickly did the refugees fall into a cup. Okay, after the foul on the mark, Cup has had a chance to set. Holding away or working it.
I hope he learned from the last possession.
Yep. As many throws as it takes. And Scuba over the top of the cup for a dump. It's creative. Crowd favorite. And a hammer. Well, that keeps the crowd happy. At least the disc's moving. Yes, another Scuba. Oh! Unfortunate that wasn't reeled in. That was a beauty. The best of the three. Kermit, well, gets it to Monty. Oh, beautiful placement on the flick. This could be huge if Butch connects here. And a foot block. But Butch will call it foul there for certain.
Was a foot block?
Okay. He's pleading his case. There's not much Buzz can do, but say yay or nay or go to the observer, and he did. Observer rules in favor of Butch and says no foul. I mean, it was a foul, pardon me. Oh, there's a pick called. Play stops again. The offense is spread out pretty well here, Tina. It seems like they're, again, they have the benefit of the wind at their backs, but
yeah,
there's lots they can do here to get this easy downwind score. Of course, relatively speaking, easy.
Right.
Monty hits this, continues. Another pick call. Yep. Okay. Another pick is stopped flow again. Kermit has it. Scanning his cutters and the choices. Throws a nice inside-out backhand break. Another continued beautifully. Right on the cusp of the end zone here. Big fake to the corner. Well set up for the lefty flick.
Very nice patience from Miami.
Yep. Parker scored a lot of goals in his career. That's a big one for him.
And they've tied it up.
Wow.
All 29 people are on the field congratulating them. You know, this game is important, not just because it's fun to be a national champ, but the opportunity to travel to Europe with your friends in the summer and play Ultimate is, I think, really driving a lot of these teams.
Oh, yeah. Splash around in an ice-cold fjord. Why not? Finland's a great place. So I hear.
So you hear. 5 hours of darkness.
Yeah, that's great.
Made
a lot
for
of
an Ultimate
sunlight.
tournament. Yeah.
A lot of sunlight to get those games in. So if we have a long game like this one, no problem getting it all in. Look at that. Can you reel it in? Oh! Just beyond Renzo. He couldn't quite catch up to that long put. Again, the wind coming over the top of a long put. If you're throwing downwind, it's going to push it down. You got to aim high, put the nose in the air a little bit, take something off it, let the wind do the work, and it's going to be on the money, especially when a guy's that open.
Appears to be a call.
Right. And, there's a foul. Yep, Ian called a foul on Butch, and asking for a fresh disc because I guess the Fisk was, the foul was enough to taco the disc. Except Heath has it. I'm confused. He was the one who threw it? Yep, guess so. Oh, it occurred before the huck. And they go again to it. Ooh. Wow. Great defensive play. Three quick throws just beyond midfield. Renzo, very active mark. Very active mark on Milan.
You know, it seems to me that Miami's getting rid of the disc a lot quicker than Boulder, but that may be because of the
look at that hammer, upwind and right to the defender. That was
gotta love that.
It was a beautiful hammer, but well, I guess that was a productive turnover, but not when you need the upwind goal and you're at midfield. Well, given right back, Milan says, "Okay, thank you, but I'll throw something more conservative this time." But his teammate almost threw it away. Let's see. Yep, Milan scores. Upwinder. And he's thinking to himself, okay.
Miami takes the lead for the first time in the game. 11-10. It's the time to make your move. Game to 17.
Timeout call, it looks like. Big pull. Rob puts it up, uses the wind, keeps it in, bounces to the back. It's not going to roll out. Got to take it from there. Tough. This is going to be a long upwind sequence from Boulder, but ooh, aggressive.
Or late.
Yeah, a little tardy on that. The throw. Chris Payne puts it up. Dave Smith. He's got a strong high release backhand though. He's got a lot of power behind it.
Right.
All right, Chris Payne puts it up, but long arms. I got a foul on the mark there. Yep. Money appears to be all he can handle with Dave Smith. Okay, Butch on Chris Payne. Just puts it up again. Dave. Look how far off the mark is. He just doesn't want to get anything big up. Now he's closing in. It's a flick. There's a wide open receiver. Placed perfectly into the teeth of that wing. You got to put farther in front. Oh, This is sketchy. A high release upwind backhand.
Okay. They just want to score too much.
Yep, Ricks couldn't pull that one in. Now the Refugees got a big break here. Butch picks up. Starting to see the players bending over, grabbing their knees. It's been long 4 days of play, and this is a grueling match right here. Butch ground checks. Payne on the mark. A nice flat throw to get it through. Backhand. Ooh. That was unforced error.
Okay.
I'm sure Rob was surprised by that a little bit, but Graham has it. Throws the buzz. Backhand. This guy's good with the disc. Dave, upwind. This is huge, Chris.
Get back to the middle. It's my mantra.
Beyond, beautiful, and throwing it beyond the receiver, but the defender just too far for that one. He needs to throw that to the corner, and then it's going to still end up 10 yards inbounds. Okay, Miami's coming back. Already just shy of midfield. Here they are. Butch has it. Throws a backhand with the outside edge up a little bit. Beautifully placed for a wide open catch.
That is a beautiful throw. Okay, 12-10.
Wow, so Olden in the Way had it right on the dance floor, right there.
Twice.
Twice
in that point.
Twice. Threw a high release backhand into the teeth of the wind that got held up. Then threw a flick into the tough wind as well. Didn't lead the receiver enough. Led it perfectly to the defender, though.
Right. It's a 7-1 run for Miami.
That's impressive.
Clearly the second half has been theirs.
Okay. Definitely up here by 2, but the Boulder team, lots of veteran savvy. Let's see what they can pull out here.
And they just have to forget about those turns. Doesn't matter.
Yep. It's a new opportunity. Blyberg picks up.
For a clean, easy pass.
Heath. Nice flow.
Nice.
Ian has it. Showing his back to his teammates. Okay, Garrett hugging him quite close on the mark. Okay, now he's facing the mark. Smart turns his back to him. Goes up top. And there's no one there. There was a call. That must explain why the throw was so far off target. Huh?
That could.
Oh, I think it was called on the defender covering the receiver, who appeared to have no play on that disc, but maybe he was held and couldn't make a turn toward it, or going to work it out here. Heath and Steve Fisher are going to work this out. Okay, it's been contested, I believe. Going to be sent back.
Play smart now, come on! Stop him and go, let's go!
The crowd is fired up. We'll see how this one unfolds.
Boulder has to decide to value it.
Okay, I believe Gear has it again. Okay, here we go, turnover. Couldn't collect, and off to the races. Here comes Miami. Oh, things got stopped quickly.
Yeah, it's a pretty frustrated brand of ultimate they're both playing right now.
I think sometimes these calls also increase a little bit as teams tire, and it's a long tournament, hotly contested game. Strong play, great throwers.
Huge prize at the end.
Yep. Well, the up line is not a strong option. Needs a dump option, gets it off. But it's covered. Foul on the throw. When we get penned in on the sideline here, hemmed in, it's just sort of, it's a difficult place to be for any team, even the most elite of players. You've got no more room to go any farther the other direction, so the defense smells blood. They can overcommit. They can just close all of the gaps up because the gap is skinny. There's a tiny lane to work with. See if they can open it up here. Refugees have nowhere to go. Another foul on the mark. Well, one emphatic fan expressed her opinion there.
There's frustration on both sides of the sidelines.
Okay, about to check it in. Still notice that all the traffic is right there. Nowhere to go. Here goes a big one upfield. It's not going to score, but it was a high count. I figured by that point, even after the foul, if it was contested, it's probably a high count.
I'd love to take a look at the stats for this point. Michael, you take stats all the time on your team.
We try to keep up with turnovers. I mean, it's critical. There's clearly productive turnovers, and there's some frivolous play that leads to just unforced turnovers in any sport. This is a game of keep away, and you got to keep it. When you get fatigued, it's easier said than done. Aside from the fatigue, you've got hungry defenders in your face, putting the clock on you with their mark and not making anything easy. Heath looks to be poised here. The mark's off him a couple steps, trying to take away anything big. Oh, point block.
Point block.
Wow, that was huge. And Louis throws it for the score to Milan to go up 13-10.
That's clutch.
That was an upwinder, too.
Upwinder point block. His teammates better be buying him dinner.
Okay, 13-10. Refugees. What are holding the way? What can they do here, Tina? What do they need to do?
They gotta stop the bleeding. They gotta be in the moment. They have to let the score go. And just think of every pass, every cut, and every throw.
There's a new opportunity to succeed. Okay. First pass over here to Rob Bleiberg, and got a pick call.
You know, it's so hard to stay focused when you have to use your energy to argue calls.
Rob scanning his options. There's an open receiver, flick side. A little too high. Oh. Nice effort for Rob to get it back. There it is, right near the goal line. And an relatively easy score.
(14-10). Miami is simply the more composed team.
At this point. It's a tough throw, but that was a catchable throw. It was a makeable throw. Rob's got to do it again and put it behind him. Okay. Jessica's on the ground. Oh, the Park's not going to hold it. Dean's going to push it. Yep. Out of bounds.
You know, they've probably done that throw 100 times. But if you're a little jacked up and it's windy, you're going to sail it out of bounds.
All right, well, it's not the worst situation for Olden in the way. They've got him hemmed in the corner here. Butch confidently walking the line up to the corner. The cone's already been kicked out of the way. Plants his pivot foot. It's a swing and flick. Sort of a flat, squaring reception. Gets it back. Pass to the break side. And Parker has it. Wow. These guys are definitely playing much more confidently right now. Louis has it, but pick was called. A couple of break passes. Pablo's set up as a dump. It's gonna be tough to get it to him, but
something like a 4-point lead to make your legs feel springy and happy.
Yep. All right, ground check. That's a significant gain on that backhand upwind. The wind is settling a little bit this time of day. It's getting later in the afternoon, so the wind is not quite as much of a factor as it was in the first half and early part of this one. Okay, it goes back to Rob. Not sure the discussion here, Tina, but might have to do where the count was prior to the call as to whether it was, you know. Yep, if it was a travel, I suppose they want to know where the count is here. He doesn't want to give him too much time still on the clock. He wants to limit him to as few of those 10 seconds as possible. That's a tough break. Ooh, across the mark. That one didn't work. Good no call.
No call, good.
All right. Bob Pease has the disc with Louis on him. I love the name Louis. My brother's name is Louis.
I know a card game, Louis.
You taught me that once. It's a great game. Kind of like Hearts a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Similar.
It's actually a game out of Madison, Wisconsin.
No kidding. Did Jeff Yu teach you that one?
Jeff Yu taught it to me.
Why did I know that? Jethro. Jeff Yu, known as
He's
Jethro.
he's a big card player. And as a matter of fact, Mike, when we played last night, how'd you do?
Okay, so
Yeah. Did you lose
just
to
being
everyone?
checked down here. Pardon me?
You lost to everyone.
Okay, I think he's forcing backhand. Yes, I lost, even to your nephew.
That's
Thank
good.
you. First time playing. Give me a
That's-
break. Good undercut, coming back to the disc. Getting it off the line, across the field. Ooh. Ouch. No contesting that call. Good hard play by Rob. Oh, Gare has it. Call. Instead, it'll come back to Bob Pease again. Louis on the mark. Holding the way knows they've got to get a downwind score here. They got to start there. Instead, well, kind of in a heap on the ground. Hope he's okay. Heath in a heap. He's picking himself up. Looks like he's okay. Not sure if there's a call or not, Tina. Oh, yeah, there's a call as he reenacts the situation.
Yeah. Usually any reenactment is a dead giveaway for a call.
Since we don't have the Jumbotron screen here to give us the replay, we need players to show us that kind of animation. Set it up for us so we know exactly what occurred. We're across the field from the action as we look at it anyway, so must be getting chilly as Flo is hugging himself and
I think that was some kind of call, Michael.
I think so too. I'm sorry. Trying to liven things up between these discussions. Well, They're still discussing it. I think that Flo was asked to make a call, and he has. No foul. Parker picks it up with big Dave Banks on him. 6'5" on 5'10". I mean, it's apparently wasn't a factor. Whew. Backhand across the mark. As the shadows are getting longer here, this is definitely, the wind is not nearly as formidable. Parker with a big upwind flick. And that was a nice sequence of passes.
I think that's the most beautiful point of the game. Great breaks, lots of patience. Miami's up 15-10.
And pulling downwind. If Colorado's got any chance to get back in this, they're going to have to do it upwind. Now, Miami clearly now is smelling blood. They're, as you said, their legs are freshened by the
score.
Yep. Gives a little youthful infusion into 33-plus years of time on this earth. Oh, here we go. Dave puts up a big backhand to get it upfield. Good distance, but nowhere to go. Nice break. He's not pivoting, he's just throwing fakes. Yep. Looks like Dave Smith is either calling a foul or a strip. If he had possession, it got ripped out by Rob, then it's a strip, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what the call actually was.
You know, you throw up a hospital pass like that. Makes me crazy sometimes when you make calls.
Yeah, Renzo was not pivoting on the mark there to try to move his marker. Instead, he was just, well, they ruled in favor of the refugees.
Yep.
He was throwing flat-footed and giving himself no options. Here goes a flick. Is it going to stay in bounds? Ooh.
Wow.
Was that foot of Parker's on the line?
I don't think so.
Apparently not, because the observers can make active line calls. And observer was right in position along the line. Well, but they're looking over there.
Okay, if it's not taken back, it's game point for Miami. That's a risky throw. They have all the time in the world. I'd rather see them move it back to the middle and punch in an easy one, but they're at game point.
Now, the interesting thing in this situation, if it was ruled a turnover, Parker did toe the line. Looked like he might have been out of bounds at one point, but perhaps could have come back in bounds before making the reception. If he established himself in bounds before making contact and catching the disc, that's a legal play and a good reception and should be a score. But looks like the ruling was that he was out of bounds when he started catching the disc at that moment.
Okay. To erase that point.
Good call.
Colorado has it back.
Yep, as they are trying to work it here, not getting a whole lot else besides swing passes and short dumps.
Miami is amped on D.
See this flat-footedness? Ooh, there's a travel he got away with.
Who was that to?
It seemed that was a foul on the mark. It's a pretty errant throw for such a skilled thrower. Okay, let's Ray the disc get put in play again. There should be no count. Dave throws the swing to Renzo. There's that backhand back to Dave. It's about all they've got is a two-man game going right here. Wide open Renzo again.
Sweet pass.
Big backhand upfield. It's a jump ball. Here comes the big guys. But instead, Marlin gets there first. Coach approaches the line with that, the bill of that cap down low. He likes to wear it. Looks good with those sideburns.
Okay. Nice yardage gain. Sweet inside out.
Yep. Very nice catch. A skinny cut up the line. If the defender can't hang, that's not a bad option. There it is.
Same corner, same score. Game point for Miami.
Yep. 16-10. Looks to me like Fisher's looking fresh.
Yeah, and Olden in the way, you know, they're looking tired.
These guys are tough, though. Plenty of players on both lines here have been in tough situations. Miami wants to close this out. Can Olden in the way dig down deep enough to pull out a run of their own here? They might concede this downwinder here. Hate to think that, but yeah.
But you were right.
I don't figure that when you're up 6, you want to have to do it the hard way.
Right.
So they'll be receiving with wind at their backs.
16-11.
Okay. Let's see if that's the first of a few, perhaps several, for Olden in the way, or this is going to be the last nail in the coffin for Miami. Milan has it. Quick release. Another pass to the slightly break side, but a call here. Looks like we had some contact. You hear a defensive teammate yelling to Olden in the way, stop him underneath, stop him underneath. Don't let him get behind you, but you gotta fight underneath. You've gotta get a block. You can't let him march it in. Oof, close to a poach block there. Yep, good recovery on the dump. Oh, and a great layout bid, but a little tardy. Milan. There it is.
And that's game. Miami Refugees, Masters U.S. champions.
Yep, the UPA champions, and they'll be representing the U.S. at World Championships in Finland.
In August 2004.
Quite a run,
there.
Tina.
Yeah, I said in the first half, I thought Olden in the way looked great. But obviously the halftime talk that Miami had fired him up.
Here's their coach, Kurt Dahlenberg. Being held high above, celebrating his hard work with these guys. He's worked with and played with a lot of these fellas for many, many years. How was that, a 10-2 run?
It's a 12-2 run.
12-2 run, looking at our notes, yep. From a 9-5 halftime score, advantage to Olden in the way. Final 17-11, so a 12-2 second half run by Miami. Stepped up big.
It's impressive.
There it is. So there's your representative for the U.S. in the Masters division at next summer's World Championships. Mylan Hooper, been around a long time. Crafty veteran. He's got to be excited to be in this position.
So Miami showed that they were just mentally tougher. You know, you don't go on a 12-2 run in the second half without having a certain level of confidence and strength and belief in your fellow teammates.
Yeah, I got to figure Olden in the Way had similar ingredients to get this far, but sometimes the fatigue kicks in and you just can't keep it going. I'm not sure if that was the case with Olden in the Way, but there was some gritty play down the stretch that Miami just got the better end of.
That's a painful discussion Olden the Way is having now. I hate those number 2 discussions, where you try to frame the whole season positively, which of course it was, and you try not to dwell on the bad stuff that just happened in the game, which is very difficult to do.
Well, as these guys celebrate, yeah, you gotta feel for Olden in the Way. They were up comfortably at half. They couldn't muster more than 1 goal until game point, when they got their 11th goal. They got 2 in the second half. Some aggressive zone defense by Miami. Very hard defense, and perhaps just a bit more of an appropriate plan offensively, given the conditions with the wind and all that out there. I think that Miami stepped up with a bit more poise with the disc down the stretch and applied a bit more defensive pressure, too.
I think you're right.
So when you address this mental toughness issue, Tina, what do you tell your players? You've pumped out some very mentally tough players over the years.
Well, what it comes down to is you need to see every part of the game as its own entity. And that's really hard to do when you're up 9-5 and you score 1 point towards the beginning of the second half, and then you don't score again until the other team's at cap. I'm sure going through some of their brains, they're like, we were in Finland, it was a good half, we already beat these guys in pool play, all those negative things that sound so right when you're happy at halftime just come around to bite you in the second half.
Happy at halftime.
Happy at halftime.
So the first point of half went Miami's way, and they pulled to start the half upwind, but got the upwind break. And as we all know, that first point of the first half and first point of second half are monumental points, and they're real momentum breakers or starters. And it seemed like Miami didn't let up for some time after that.
So that's it for the Masters final. We'll be lucky enough, Michael, to see the refugees, since we'll be coaching the U.S. Juniors boys teams in Finland in August. And my last question is, how long do you think it's going to be before we have our players playing in Masters?
I don't know about you, but I don't know. It's going to be some time, but not that much longer. This is a great win for Miami. There are 3 great finals tomorrow. The mixed division, women's division, and open division. It's been a fantastic game here, Tina. So for Michael Baccarini and Tina Booth, so long. We'll see you folks tomorrow on the center field.
Can you say 10 in a row? 10 in a row on defense! 10 in a row on defense! Hey, let's give him one more. Get him, all right, bring it in. Let the dude in, yeah!
where's Kermit? Wait a minute. Kermit, you got to say something.
On three. Who is the best team in the USA? 1, 2, 3. Refugees!